So, you've learned a little bit about LoRaWAN and you want to get started building your own LoRaWAN solution. Well, one of the first steps is choosing the right device for your LoRaWAN solution. So today, I'm going to walk you through my process for choosing a LoRaWAN device for my application using the LoRaWAN device repository. Let's get started. So today I'm building a LoRaWAN application and I want to add a window sensor in my home so I know that when a window is open or closed. And I'm going to walk you through my process for looking at all the available sensors and then picking the one that I like. So the place I always start is the Things Network device repository. So we go to thingsnetwork.org and then the hardware section. And here we can see all of the devices in the device repository. The sensor that I need is called a magnetometer. And I happen to know that the smart room sensor has one. Soon we'll add some filters to the device repository so it's a little bit easier to sort by sensor. But for now, the way that you do that is you go to a sensor that you know has the sensor you like. And then here, these links all allow you to sort the device repository by this sensor. So if I click this magnetometer link, then suddenly I have this tag magnetometer and I can see all of the devices which have this sensor. The other way to do that is using the URL. So if I wanted, for example, a light sensor, I could do this and then I would just see all the devices which have light sensors. And like I said, soon we'll add a filter so you can just sort that more easily. But for now, this is the little hack I use to sort. If you want to see all of the sensors that are available, I suggest waiting until we add the filters. But if you're a little bit codey, you can go and see those in the device repository itself. So in the repository, the wind sensor example has all of the available devices. And these are all tags that you can use to sort the device repository to see which devices have these sensors. Let me get back to my magnetometer. And now I can see all of the devices, like I said, which have this magnetometer. So the next thing I'm going to do is create a little spreadsheet, which has all of the devices that I want to compare. Here, I've made myself a spreadsheet with the manufacturer, device, which sensors it has, the battery life, whether battery is replaceable, the size of the device, price, and then any notes. And now in the device repository, I can go through and I can look at the devices and I can get a lot of that information from here. So here I have the sensors, and this is the Tektelic smart room sensor. And the size is here as well. And then I can also see example uplinks, which is kind of cool. So you can see exactly what the data is going to look like when it comes in on this sensor. The last thing I need to do is pull up the spec sheet for this device so I can see the information that I don't have here. So here's the data sheet and I can see the battery life. I can see some more information. And here's the spec sheet. I can see the size. And in the base version and the PIR version, we have a battery chart here. So let's assume SF7 connection and we're sending a packet every 15 minutes, which means that we have a battery life for the PIR version of 4 years and a battery life for the base version of 11 years. So this is the base version, 11 years, and the battery is not replaceable. And then for the price, we can go and look for it on the store somewhere. The PIR version costs about 60 euros and the base version costs about 50 euros. This is the base and we will put those 49.90. All right, and now I'm gonna go and repeat that for each of the sensors in the device repository that I saw. So that's all of these. This is a parking lot sensor, which is not what I want. It happens to have a magnetometer in it, but it looks like I've got a LoRaWAN sensor here. I have the Sezo EL. I have some chips, and then I have the Dragino LDS01 and LDS02. So I go and I repeat that for all of my sensors, and now I have them all here, these two Tektelics, the LoRaWAN, the Sezo, and then the Dragino. It turns out that the LDS01 is discontinued and was replaced by the LDS02, so I just made a note here that it's end of life. But basically we have all of the information for all of devices. We can see what they all cost, and we have the battery life, whether the battery is replaceable, the size. And now the decision is pretty easy. It's kind of a matter of personal preference. So you can make a decision based on the price, maybe based on the size, maybe based on the battery life if you know how often you're going to replace it. Battery estimates, I tried to do based on a SF7 every 15-minute uplink, but that wasn't available for all the devices. Dragino actually gave me a number of uplinks that they could send, which actually is a more accurate and makes less assumptions, but I'm assuming that I have about a year. It says that that it's designed to last about a year, and the battery is replaceable anyway, so And then all the other companies just gave me a prediction based on assumptions that sometimes I know, sometimes I don't. So that one you have to take with a grain of salt for sure. In this case, I like working with Tektelic. I know that I have availability for the base smart room sensor. I don't need any of the extra sensors. And so I think what I will end up choosing in this case is the Tektelic base smart room sensor. But this is just all about the process. And of course, at this point, it's up to you to figure out which device is available and fits your application best. So that's my process for choosing a LoRaWAN device from the LoRaWAN device repository. If you want to know about more of the amazing devices in the LoRaWAN ecosystem, check out the device repository, where you can see all of the devices that are designed to be as easy as possible to use with the ThinkStack. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you again soon.